Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome to my channel, A Card Day's Work. I couldn't be more excited to be celebrating Courtney's 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is such a huge accomplishment and I am so proud of all the hard work she's done to get to this point in her YouTube journey. If you guys haven't heard of Courtney before, if you're on like someone from my channel and you haven't heard of her, definitely check out the description below. I've got her channel linked. Go over there, subscribe to her channel, and hop along with us today to help celebrate her milestone, and maybe you'll find some awesome new inspiration along the way. Let's go ahead and get started and see how the card came together. To start things off today, we're going to be doing a little bit of ink blending to build a scene. This stencil that I'm using here is so versatile and really useful, and it's brand new from Simon Hurley. So my focus today is going to be on Simon Hurley Create products, and most of these are from the new release, though I did mix and match in some things that are from previous releases as well. But this stencil is called Scene Maker, and it's part of his Maker stencil line, which has stencils and masks, and you can go ahead and use these to create your own scene. This one is really cool because it has a lot of different features. It's got the clouds, it's got grass, it's got stars, it's got like a moon and a sun, and it's got a mask and a stencil for all of those, and mountains as well. So you can really go to town creating awesome scenes and making your cards really special and intricate. This actually started off as an accident. I was only intending to put the clouds down. I wasn't intending to add the stars, but then I thought they actually looked kind of neat. So I did go ahead and make a point of adding some additional stars. If you want to make sure not to get the stars in your ink blending, if you're only going for clouds, I would recommend just masking them off with something like Post-it note tape or something like that, just so that you don't accidentally blend on something you don't want on your background. In my case, I think they looked pretty cool, so I went ahead and left them in, but this is totally up to you. I did go ahead and use the Clear Skies ink first. This is a dye ink, and then I went in with Remember Me after the fact and added those in with a little bit of a darker color, just so that it had some nice variation and things looked really nice and blended instead of just being one color. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the really super cute new baseball themed stamp set. I'm going to have everything linked down below for you guys in case you want to check anything out from this new release. This one is all about baseball and it's got summer vibes for days. So I decided to go ahead and stamp out the cute little Build-A-Character thing that Simon's sort of been known for now. So you've got the head and the body that you can attach separately. And I wanted to make mine a girl, and luckily Simon has included a ponytail, so I was able to add that to my character and make her a little girl baseball player. I went ahead and kept the color scheme fairly simple. I wanted it to be a close match to my background, but not exact for her shirt. So I did go ahead and color with some aqua sort of colors here. I'm going to go ahead and pop some music on for you guys while I do my coloring and fussy cutting for this image, and then I'll be right back with you to finish off the card. All right, so now that we are coming to the end of our fussy cutting, we're ready to go ahead and start assembling the rest of the card. I decided that I wanted to build a nice little scene since I was using the Scene Maker stencil already. So I got out some of the Grrr ink from Simon's line and I just blended messily on some ink. I made sure that it wasn't perfect, it wasn't a solid color just because I wanted it to have a little bit of interest and kind of variation there. And I think it turned out really nice. And then I went ahead and cut that, just eyeballed it. I didn't measure it or anything, but I wanted it to look like the dirt of a baseball field maybe. And then I went ahead and blended on some grass in the background here as well. I'm just using some scrap paper for this that I had left over from another project. And I'm using the Lator Gator color of ink as well. These are all from Simon's line. They're all dye inks and they're water reactive, but they also stamp really well too. So if you're looking for sort of a versatile ink that you can use for pretty much anything, this is a really good go-to. And then I'm just going to go ahead and trim this down so that it's 4 inches across. I did go ahead and fussy cut the edges here of the grass. I was not perfect with this. I certainly didn't try to actually cut every single grass blade because that probably would have taken forever, but I did try to make it look sort of fringy like it was following the grass. And it's got that little white border there, which I'm okay with. So once I got that done, I did go ahead and trim my card panel down that I did my ink blending on to 4 by 5 1/4 so that I could mount this nicely on an A2 size card base later, which I will do at the end. I went ahead and layered on the grass first, using my ATG here to attach my little pieces. Cut off the little edges there with my scissors just so that I got a perfect fit. And then that is the base for my card, you guys. So now I can go ahead and start working on the sentiment. I really like how this came together in the end, and this has kind of been one of my go-to techniques lately, to be honest. So you might see this in a few videos just because I'm kind of in love with this right now. I always do love a white embossed sentiment on a black piece of cardstock, but this is kind of taking it to the next level and making it a little more fun and interesting. So I wanted to get my placement right so that I could have my little girl there on the edge or the left side and then have my sentiment kind of off to the right. But I wanted it to be a strip sentiment. However, because this is a stacked sentiment and it's a little bit chunky, it would have taken up a massive amount of the background if I had cut the whole strip to be the same size as the sentiment itself. So what I'm going to do is heat emboss first, and then we're going to do something a little tricky to the background or the card base part of the sentiment. I don't know how to describe that, but we're going to do something fancy, and hopefully you guys will like how it turns out as well. So here I've just put on some anti-static powder to treat the surface here, put on my embossing ink, poured on the embossing powder, then melted it with my heat tool. Here comes the little bit of a tricky part. This takes a little bit of bravery, and I have been avoiding doing this sort of thing for a long time because I was always worried that I was going to mess it up. But if I can do it, so can you. All you have to do is just cut with your paper trimmer a little portion so that you have a strip, and then you use your scissors to cut around the image. You just fussy cut around the letters so that on each side you have a strip, and then in the middle it hugs the letters of the shape of your sentiment. And then what you're left with at the end here is a really nice detailed looking sentiment that looks like you had a special die just for it, but you've cut it and created it yourself, which I think is really cool. This is like truly a one-of-a-kind card, and no one else is going to have anything like this, which I honestly think is part of the best thing about making cards yourself, because you never have to worry about showing up to a party or anything with the same card as someone else. Has that ever happened to you guys? It's definitely happened to me, and definitely not something that I want to repeat. All right, so once I get this all cut out, I did clean it up a little bit just to make sure that my edges looked really nice. I find it's easier to move the paper than move the scissors, so try experimenting with that and see what you think. So there you can see I've got the nice little strip, and then my thank you kind of pops right out of it from the top and the bottom. I just used my ATG there to go ahead and run a strip of tape along the back, and I attached that directly to my background. Then I pulled out some liquid adhesive and I used that to attach my little girl to the back as well. But I did want to go ahead and add a sentiment before I did that, so I pulled out the stamp set Bestest Friends. This stamp set had the cutest little sentiment that I wanted to add as kind of a sub sentiment underneath my big huge thank you. So it has the little sentiment that says, thanks for being the bestest friend ever. And I thought it would be really cute to add for being the bestest friend ever down at the bottom underneath the thank you. So all I did here is mask off the thanks. And then here we have thank you for being the bestest friend ever. And it couldn't be more perfect. I love that tiny little sentiment stamped directly on the background. I think it worked out perfectly. The size was just right. I can't believe how nicely that coordinated together. And then I went ahead and attached her to my background like I mentioned before. I went ahead and folded a white A2 size card base with the Simon Hurley Stark White cardstock. Forgive my really rude, I don't know, basic way of folding this. Normally I would have used a bone folder, but I couldn't find one. That's a sign that I need to clean my craft room, guys. So I just folded it down, attached my card base, and that pretty much finished off the card. All I did is add a little bit of a shadow underneath her feet so that it looked like she was standing on something, and that completed the card. I really hope you guys love it. You can take a look at the finished card here. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Don't forget to hop along with Courtney's 10K celebration so that you can win a prize. The giveaway on my channel is going to be the home run stamp set that I used in today's video, so be sure to check the description for how you can sign up and win. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.